Morning, students. Let us commence the session. So, the last sessions that we have discussed completely on array, single dimensional array and two dimensional array. It was we have discussed during the last two sessions. So, by recapping those sections, these MCQs are there. So, I suggest the students please have a pen and paper with you, solve and find out this answer. Post your answers in the chat. What is the answer for this problem that you have to solve, right? So you have an single dimensional array. Single dimensional array is being iterated. And they are storing a I value in the array. They are ready to print that. After printing, they are doing an incrementation. And what is the relationship between I plus plus and the plus plus I here? Is there any impact of this index variable while it is going to print the data? That is the only thing you have to find out. What would be the result? Post your results in the chat. A, B, C, D. Any one of the option. We have an option. We have two options, A and C. A. So A is getting majority. A. What would be the option? Option is ultimately A, right? Right? You won't come as C because you have a relationship between I plus plus and plus plus, right? The I value get incremented while it is going to reach over for the subsequent iteration. So ultimately, another value of I will be added upon, right? That's what the thing. So this type of checking fundamental is most a common factor in your capacity. So please remember that, right? So we have studied everything. We have studied individually all the topics. When it is going to be combined, are we able to give our potential? That's what people will be checking, right? So that's the main thing in mathematics, in computer related subjects, right? So please have a notion on that. Second one, solve this, find out the answer. We are declaring an array. Again we are declaring initializing. The two-dimensional array was being initialized. So tracing the content is something important always. Row and column are being iterated. They are adding value 1 with the J loop. Finally, they are ready to display sum of all the elements in the generated array. First row and column based for loop is ready to generate the values for your matrix. Second set of for loop is ready to perform the sum of generated elements. So what is the answer? What is the answer? No answer still now, right? So this could be something challenging. Yes, you take time and to solve because it's very important, right? So this question has been derived from the placement paper prepared for the internal purpose of conducting campus interviews in CEG, MIT, and AC Tech, Humanist campus. A very good filtering problem it is. You have to generate the elements for the matrix. Finally, you have to add all the generated elements. That's all. That is the basic logic. So, what could be the answer? Any answers? Still, people are solving or thinking. I don't know. Huh? In two dimension, the second dimension has been kept empty. So your answer is shell. Okay. Please trace it. Once you trace the problem, you could be able to find out why this 10 had come. Okay. Please trace the problem. Even you can copy this code and because this distribute will be available over on Google Class Slides. You can copy code and you can run it in any online compiler. Online compilers along with the trace nowadays is available. So trace and find out why 10 is being generated. It is something simple, right? Could be able to solve. That is an array. Along with the declaration, I am giving initialization. Right? This is also a notation. And I am assigning a value n as 6. I have used a nested array here along with the operations. Even the operations are continuing in the print statement. So what would be my result? This n value is 6. ARR of 6 is nothing but what it represents. It will be 5. 5 by 2, 2. ARR of 2. So what would be the result? Any answers? People are getting 1. How? Right? So if the problem is something big, people will try to solve, right? But if it is very short, they are ready to convert. So these types of substitution problems are something interesting to solve because we are very familiar with the formula-based problems, right? When it is something is going to come in terms of qualitative assessment, it is something tough for us, right? So you have to practice for that section also. Yes. What would be the output of this? So something related to character array. Still we have not encountered about this, but you can have a try. I have a character I, the loop is iterating and I am printing that value. That's it. So here only question is, while I value is going to be incremented, do I have any change in this I? That's what my question is. So you have a twist here. Understand the twist. Value character I is to be printed or the corresponding ASCII value to be printed. Either the corresponding incremented ASCII values character will be printed. These are all the questions to be raised here to answer for this. So what would be the answer? So people have supplied the D. Yes, ultimately D is the answer, because the for loop is iterating for number of times. It is ready to give me the or display the I value only, because I am not doing any manipulation on I, the character I, as well as each and every time I am assigning that value and I am printing it. That's it. I am not doing anything over with the manipulation section. Simple assignment. So how many times I am going to assign, that many times I am going to display. That was happening there. The last question. What would be the output? There is a relationship between the second question and this question. I don't have any answers for second question. Till now, no one have supplied. But this could be the funda for it. You have a 3 cross 3 matrix. It is being iterated. They are ready to calculate the sum of the elements available in the matrix. And again, they are dividing it by 5. What is the value they will receive? That's the question. So, what is the answer? People are getting B and 9. Yes, ultimately, right? So, I'm going to add all those elements divided by 5 will give me 9. Right? So, this could be the problems that will be tested for your fundamentals in array. So, please have an idea on these types of problems. Likewise, only you will be getting such problems in your weekly tests also, right? So here onwards there won't be any what is what type questions. You have a problem, you have to find out the output. Unless and otherwise you are not clear in concepts, you could not be able to derive the answer for this, right? For mathematics, you have something called a formula to find out and to get the answers, but here you don't have any formulas. You should be very clear in concept. Using that conceptual knowledge, you have to derive the answer. That's it. So that's the idea behind our what will be the output of the following Java code. Such a type of problems will be there here onwards. Please remember, right? So on trial basis, you could visit all the websites which are supplying such a type of MCQs based on Java, right? So solve all those things that will be useful for your weekly tests, your monthly exams, for your unannounced examination, for your campus interview point of view. Everything. One preparation for multiple purpose. So please remember. Today we are going to see package. What is mean by package in Java? Package is nothing but a basic definition, collection of classes. So otherwise, we are going to see some more additional contents related to this group, the package. Not only classes, I could have some interfaces, I could have sub packages, I could have some abstract classes, whatever may be, right? We will see all those things. Generally, you could able to compile package is nothing but collection of classes, right? In all the Java programs, we are using a package, but it is not compulsion to include for some methods. For example, we are using print or println. It is available under our IO package. So what I have to do, I have to type while I'm going to write the program, import at the beginning of the program, like how you will write in your C and C++, include stdio.h or include iostream.h. Likewise, how you will write in the same way, the beginning of the Java program, you have to write import space java dot lang dot star. So likewise, you have a package as well as import java.io.star. So likewise, number of packages are available which is ready to supply the predefined methods. Okay, predefined methods. Even we can create our own package, customized package. For example, if I'm going to create a project, means I can create a simple project, simple package that can be used for my project. Nothing but main will be available separately. What are all the necessary methods to be used? I will return separately. Put all those methods inside the package. That's all. Only main method is visible for me. It is a type of procedural abstraction. Okay. So in the main method, simply I will call the package name. Package is nothing but a directory. That's it. Within a directory, I am putting all the Java files and I will compile them. I won't execute because those files don't have main method. So simply, for example, a function to display the name. So that function is available within a class. That's all. What I will do, I will compile that class. That's it. So it is available under a directory. So what I will do, while I am going to write my main method, I will import that function. That's all. So how to import it? That is what we are going to see detailing. So that's the thing. Everything can be maintained separately. That's the idea. So it's a basic foundation for your MVC architecture. Model, view, controller. Okay. So design will be separate, logic will be separate, database will be separate, data will be separate. So likewise, three things will be differentiated because if I want to change any one of the entity, rest of the thing will not be disturbed. That's the idea behind this. So this is a representation of a package which is available in terms of these are all talking about built-in packages. Okay, so Java is the main package. Under that you are having lang and lang util AWT. This is for only representation, but you have number of built-in packages are available. This is sub packages of Java, right? So every package is having their predefined class. So you will be able to see, and inside the lang only we are having system.class. So we are mentioned right system dot out dot print. That system is nothing but this system dot class. Okay, so every predefined package has its own predefined classes. If I need to use this class in my program, what I have to do? I have to import that package. So that is the idea behind this. Here is the list. You can go through the slide. This is a complete list of packages which are necessary at this time. But the recent developments will incorporate some more packages also. Java.lang. It's not, I think, it is not mandatory to include. By default, if you are going to write the Java program, the JVM will incorporate this lang package, but rest of the thing you have to include. Okay. So java.util consists of number of utilities. Right. Example, if I want to use collections, we want to use data structures in Java. That's what collections. So likewise, so many utility functions are available in that package. Java.io, right, related to input and output. If I want to use file handling, I need to go for this IO package. Math, it will ready to supply you all related to your trigonometry, other analytical, such type of mathematical objects that what you will see in your math.h in your C and C++. Non-blocking IO, so that's something related with our external interfaces. Okay, .NET. I could able to create my own server and client using these packages. .NET. Security, it is ready to provide me, or it is ready to simulate me some of the classes that which are necessary for cryptography. Okay, as well as even it could able to simulate SSL also, secure socket layers. You will learn in computer networks in the forthcoming semesters. So if I need to interact with the DBMS, I have the package SQL, right? So if I need to interact with the database, I have to use this package. AWT, abstract windowing toolkit. It is nothing but it is used to create a GUI environment. How to create a button, how to create a text box, how to create a window. So likewise, everything is available, right? So java.text. So this could be a normal package that is ready to handle with the dates, numbers, etc. RMI. So this is a architecture where we will be working with it. What do you call it? It's called a resource-oriented architecture. Okay, so to execute this program, to work with RMI, I need to write 4 programs. I need a server program, I need a client program, I need a declaration program, I need a initialization program. So I need 4 programs. Okay. So the declaration and initiation are termed as stub, skeleton. Stub, skeleton, client, server. So I need 4 programs to run a army program. Remote method invocation. Okay, remote method invocation. Some interesting item it is, right? So you will learn those things in the advanced Java. Time, it is ready to supply me the built-in date and time related constraints. Beans. What is this beans? See, this will play a vital role in your career. Beans. You can create your own control and make it as a beans. If anybody want to use that, they will access this bean and use. Right? For example, you can create a text box that will access only numbers. Likewise, you can create a bean and you can name it as RIT. Right? If anybody want to access that control, they will create like this: RIT O equal to new RIT. So if they want to access the methods of the corresponding box, what they will use using that object, they will access it. So you can create your own classes and controls on your customized environment, right? So beans is an extension for your abstraction, right? So we will have a getter and setter methods that will support for our encapsulation also. So these are all the built-in methods. In our course of study, we will see most of the packages while we are traversing up to Unit 5. Let us move forward. How to create a, so these are all built-in packages. Now, how to create a customized package, how to create our own package. So that's what here we are ready to show you. I wrote a main method. Please remember, I wrote a main method. Here you could able to see the keyword package. Package space my pack. Package space my pack. That is the syntax. The package name is my pack. What you have to do means you have to create a directory my pack. Please remember, I have a note. You have to create a directory my pack. Within this directory only, you have to store the file simple, right? Simple.java. This is what the program simple.java. Okay, you have to compile that file and that class file also must be available within this mypack directory only. So what is the directory name that you are going to create? The same name only you have to give for the package. Or what is the package name you are going to keep? That must be the directory name. Okay, remember. So within mypack directory, I am having simple.java. I have to compile that. Okay, so please remember, I have to compile that. So since my file is available in the same directory, see, I am not writing 2 programs here. I am writing only 1 program. I am not ready to import over for any other programs. I am writing only 1 program. This is a standalone example. Please understand. So within mypack, simple.java is there. After compilation, I am having simple.class will be generated. It is having main method. Okay. So in that case, how to run that? That's a syntax is very, very important when you are going to work with a command line. So Java C option -D. -D represents directory. And next you have an operator called option called a dot. What the dot represents? Dot represents the package is available within our directory only, within the current directory only. That is the thing that dot is used. For example, if your package is available in some other directory, in that case, you should not use dot. What you have to use? You have to use the complete path where your directory is available. For example, within D drive, I am having this mypack. Within mypack, I am having simple.java. Okay. In that case, if it is available in some other directory, for example, it is available in C drive. So in that case, in the place of dot, you have to mention C:/ where that pack is available. So please remember, okay, where that directory is available, that must be mentioned. As well as when you are going to run the program, so you have to use Java as usual. Normally we use only the class name. Instead of class name, what you have to use? Package name dot class name. That is the way to execute when we have only 1 program, right? Here I have not used 2 programs. I have used only 1 program because in the program itself I am having the main. The normal examples how it will be means I'll show you. right? That's the second stage. So first stage is over. We are writing only one program, right? This don't have any impact on packages because I have not used the import keyword here. I have created a package. The package consists of a program. The package consists of the class. That's all, not more than that. I have not used this in another program. When we are going to use this in another program, then only the real usage of package starts. So how to do that? So how I need to use that? So the syntaxes will be like this. Either I can use import package dot star. Star is a wildcard character. Okay. So what are all the files which is available under package folder? Everything is accessible. Otherwise, import package dot class name. I am importing only the specific class. For example, 10 classes will be available inside that directory package, but it is enough for me to access only one class. In that case, I could able to access using only the class name. Okay. Fully qualified name means if you are having number of directories, you have to mention all the directory name 1, directory name 1 dot, directory name 2 dot, directory name 3 dot, class name, right? So likewise, you have to mention the complete name. That is what fully qualified name. Right. So using package name, how can we do that? See here, I wrote a program. I am creating a package pack. Within that pack, I am having a class A. Right. Within the class, you are having a message. Observe that this class don't have main method. Okay. This class don't have main method. Have a clear notion on that. This class don't have main method. Only function is available within this class. Okay. B.java. So what I am doing, I am importing this. See, package mypack. This is optional. No need to consider. Okay, even if this program is also need to be copied and used in some other program, you could able to use that. So you neglect that word package mypack. It is not that much important here. You have to remember import pack.star. That is the content that we have to see. See here, the package name is pack. Within the pack, class A is available. So what I have accessed, import pack.star. So what are all the contents available within the pack that will be accessed here. Here you have the class B, right? See that? Here you have the class B. I am writing the main method. I am creating the object for class A. Class A is available in pack. Okay, so have an idea on that. Class A is available in pack, but B is available separately. So what you have to do, you have to create a directory pack. Within the directory, you have to put this A. This B can be written anywhere else, no issues. Okay, but you can import this pack.star. That is the important keyword. Otherwise, A cannot be accessible inside this. Okay, so during a demonstration regarding inheritance, you could be able to see the contents of one class can be derived to the other class using the keyword extends. Okay, so but here we have not used anything. Simply import pack.star. Ultimately, the contents of A will be available within this program itself. Okay, this is B.java. I am creating the object for A and I am accessing that message. That's it. Okay, so how to execute this program? So in that case, first you have to compile this program. So within this directory d:/pack, within this directory you have to compile javac a.java. It will generate a.class. Okay, now a.class is available. Second, when we are going to execute this, so what we will do, the same procedure. Come back to this, the same procedure. Javac -d in the place of dot. Suppose both the files are available in the same directory, that you could be able to use dot itself. Otherwise, if you are going to use B.java in some other place, you have to mention the place where it is going to be, where it is going to access the pack. Okay, C drive, in C drive you are having B.java, in D drive pack you are having A.java. So in that case, what you will do, javac -d in the place of dot d:/pack, because for compiling B.java it is requesting a.class. So in that case, from d:/pack it is ready to import. Okay, so finally you could be able to execute java space the corresponding class name dot and access. That's it. Okay, so here mypack is not necessary because B.Java, we don't have any package over there. So what I will do, simply I will give Java B. Ultimately, it will run the program. Only for importing A only, I have to mention the syntax over there. So that's the idea of running the program. This is method 1. Okay, this is method 1. How we are accessing it. Okay, using package name dot class, the same program only, package name dot class. Okay, here you could able to see pack dot a, because import pack dot a, because you could able to see here public class A. So pack dot a. So the way of accessing will differ. Import pack dot a. In the previous program, we have mentioned import pack dot star. It represents all the classes will be accessed here. But here only the specific class I am going to access, pack dot a. So please remember. Fully qualified name. So how to access the fully qualified name, right? So here I have, this is the way to create. Okay, how I am creating the object, pack dot a space obj equal to new pack dot a, and you need to have a view here. I have not used the import pack, right? Pack dot star. So instead of that, what I have mentioned, pack dot a, I have mentioned the fully qualified name here. Instead of using the import keyword, I have used the pack.a space object equal to new pack.a. Without using import keyword, we did this. That is what the usage of fully qualified name. But I suggest to you, fully qualified name can be used when we are going to work with a very big project, when more number of classes are there, right? So these are all the 3 ways that you can work with the package. This could be the sequence of the program must be, right? Hierarchy wise, first one is package, because package consists of number of classes. Package consists of number of classes. So within the package, if I need to access the class, what I have to do, using the keyword import, I will access it. So that is the idea behind this section. Okay, so please remember, package import class, this could be the hierarchy. In that way only we have to access. And this is a program. If you want to know about any particular package, if you want to know about the details of the package, if you want to know about skeleton of the package, you can use this program. This is a predefined program, right? So here I want to know about the predefined package java.lang. Check the second line, third line in the program. Package p equal to package dot get package java.long. Okay, I have passed the argument java.long. So regarding the language package, I could able to retrieve all these details. I could able to get the actual name, what is the specification title, what is the vendor who had supplied this package, what is the version, what could be the implementation title, who is the implementation vendor, what is the version, is sealed. Sealed means whether the package is currently available to access and use. If not, it will return true or false. That is the main thing, right? Especially you can check both for predefined package as well as user defined package. You can have this program and check for all these packages. Whenever any version update is going to happen, see here, for all these packages you can check. Whenever any version update is going to happen, you could able to run this program and find it out. Normally in Ubuntu and Linux flavors, people will have this sudo space apt-get space update. When they are going to run this, it will automatically run the updates. Even here you could be able to see such updates by running this program, right? So directly you can run this program by simply changing the arguments that what you need to find out, right? Even for your user defined packages, you could be able to find out all those things. That's a interesting about package class, right? Here we have talked about the package predefined class. A class called package is available. Please remember. So that's about package. Next one is Java doc tool. What is this Java doc tool? What it will generate, right? It will ready to generate the complete documentation for your program, for your project, what you did. Okay. Even for a simple program, it will generate the documentation in HTML format. That is a very, very important, right? If you write a simple program, what are all the contents it have, that will be documented. A user manual will be generated in the form of HTML, right? So that's what the Java doc tool will do. Even I will show you that output. So how to do that? So I think you could able to see this. You have to increase the font size. Okay. So I want to find out any file is that star.java. Yes, we have 5 files are available here. How to use the java.tool. So before applying java.tool, you have to check the path is set or not. Java C will check. Yes, I think path is available. Okay, we will try to generate for one.java. I think the one.java, the first program I have shown you in the class. It is ready to print your name. That is a program. Okay, so syntax is java dot is the tool space file name dot java one dot java. So this tool will generate a HTML file. See that loading source file one.java. It is constructing building tree for all the packages and classes, generating one.html, package summary, package tree. See how many files are being generated. Check that. See, hardly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 files are generated using this tool, right? So this will be useful when we are going to work with uh, multiple number of classes and files. Right? For a single file, it won't give us a much more detailed fashion, right? So whenever you want to convey what this program is doing, no need to give the source code, just to pass this HTML file. Even the websites which are generating new softwares, what they will do pertaining to Java, using Java doc, they will generate the uh, documentation. The documentation will be served in terms of HTML file only, right? I'll show you. So it is available inside D drive. Okay, so D drive. Okay, I think I have to go here. Yes. Here you could be able to see the example file. So we have generated in D drive. In D drive we have one.html. Okay, D colon one.html, and you could be able to see. So here I will be arranging sort by file type. Here I have arranged file type. Check that. Yes, here you have HTML files. See here. These are all the files generated by that package. All classes dot if an index, constant values, deprecated list, help dot, index all, one, right? This is the file that what we have seen. Overview tree, package summary, package tree, system properties. These are all the files generated by my java.tool, as well as uh, if to see what it was there, even you could able to check with that. So open it with your browser, Google Chrome. I'm opening it with it. Yes, it's opening. Yes, you're able to see. You have here, you have the class one. See that. So even I will show you the program, so that you could be able to understand in an easier way. So Java file. That is Java file. Java. Yes, here you have one.java. Open the file. Open with a WordPad. See, this is the program that we are having. You could be able to see that. This is the program that what we wrote. So we have class 1. Within that, we have a main method. That's it. Not more than that. So for this, it had generated the documentation. For a simple program, it had generated the documentation. So that's the content that you need to see here. So what is the default constructor? It generates the default constructor one. You could able to see here. Okay, in the class one, see we have not imported the package lang by default. The Java had imported it is right that you could able to see here java.lang.object. So the default constructor one is invoked. We know that the program consists of a main method which is having the modifier static void, right? So we are not because see these methods that can you able to remember what these methods are? Already I have taught you on 27th July. So these are all the methods, nothing but your objects class method, right? Object is the base class for all the available methods. These are all the methods which are available along with it, whatever that you are going to write. And again, constructor details and method details. Since this is a single program, that getting those contents will be not more. Such a thing can be available as well as I could able to see my tree because within the class I am having only one, so no need to worry about that. Index, these are all the HTML files being generated, right? So this is the index, class name, constructor name, those things are available. Help, API help, this is the API file generated for our program. See this, how this API document is organized. So by that you could able to give the complete orientation. When we are going to create a very big program, all those things will be filled with the corresponding data. That's very, very important. Okay, so such an interesting tool it is that you could able to generate your own documentation for this, right? As well as this could be the parameters that it is ready to generate. So who is the author? What are the values that I am passing? An example, right? So what are the things that you could be able to see? What is the version of the program? What is the return value from the function? Everything is being retrieved through the documentation methods when you are going to write. Okay, so that's what has been elaborated here in terms of tags. If you are since it's necessary for us to understand how to use it in Eclipse, right? So you have to select the tool from the wizard. Okay, from the project menu, you have to select that wizard, generate Java doc that will be available. By default, the Java doc file available in your C:/program files / JDK version / so within bin you could able to identify this Java doc tool. Okay, so you have to select that Java doc tool in Eclipse. Then only that could be mapped with your corresponding corresponding source file. That's very, very important. Okay, so after this on the right side, you have to select a class which we want to generate the Java doc. So it will come like a wizard. Left side you will choose the Java doc. Right side you will choose the corresponding class that need to be generate the file. Okay, so documentation file. So by that, when you click next, what will happen means it will ask where I need to store my documentation files. So you can choose a location, and finally if you click finish, ultimately whatever the HTML files, the 10 HTML files whatever I have shown, that will be generated in the folder what you have selected. That's a simple way to use Java documentation in Eclipse tool. Okay, so that's the idea. So if you have any queries, you can post it in the chat.